If you're running a medical practice today, you know it feels like you're fighting a financial battle on all fronts. It's getting more complex every single year. So we've put together the strategic blueprint to help you really get a handle on the huge shifts happening in healthcare finance, and more importantly, get ahead of the curve for 2026. Let's dive right in.
Okay, let's kick things off with a number that should really make you sit up and pay attention. 36%. According to the Medical Group Management Association, that's how many of your peers are already planning to outsource some of their revenue cycle management. And that begs a really important question. What do they know that you might not?
Well, to answer that, we're going to walk you through a pretty clear path today. We'll start by looking at the pressures your practice is facing right now. Then we'll get into why 2026 is such a critical year. From there, we'll break down the real advantages of outsourcing, back it all up with some hard numbers, and then wrap up with a practical blueprint for your success. All right, first things first, let's get real about the world we're operating in. The pressures on medical practices are, well, they're mounting from every single direction. It's creating this perfect storm of financial and administrative challenges. So here's a bit of good news that's kind of masquerading as a challenge. Patient demand is up. Almost half of all medical groups are seeing more patients walk through the door. And look, that's amazing for your mission, right? But it puts a massive strain on your staff and your systems. More patients means more claims, more coding, just more of everything. And at the very same time your team is being asked to do more, the cost of that team is going up. We're seeing compensation for medical assistants, the absolute backbone of any practice, is up over 3%. This isn't just a blip, it's a real squeeze on your bottom line. And this slide tells a really important story about staffing. You might be thinking, okay, I'll just hire more people. But take a look at these numbers. A whopping 78% of practices are saying that nurse recruiting has either stayed the same or gotten worse. The labor market just isn't serving up an easy solution here. So on top of the market pressures, you've got regulatory pressures. This quote from an HHS report about the No Surprises Act says it all. And look, this isn't a political thing, it's just a simple fact from everyone involved. The law, as well-intentioned as it is, has added a huge new layer of administrative work. It just drives home how complex this all has become. So, with all of that as the backdrop, let's talk about why this is all leading up to a critical moment. Why is 2026 the year you absolutely need a new game plan? Well, it's because the entire nature of how you get paid, your revenue cycle management, is fundamentally changing. Industry experts are calling this the RCM transformation. And believe me, this isn't some slow-moving evolution. It's a rapid-fire, tech-driven modernization. We're talking about AI and automation becoming the new standard, cyber threats getting way more sophisticated, and totally new ways of operating. This isn't just about billing faster, it's about a future where technology can predict a risky claim before you even submit it. And here is the real kicker. And David Laral from Medicom Systems just nails it here. It's not enough to just go out and buy some fancy AI software. To get the real value, you have to adopt it intentionally. That means having a strategy, integrating it properly, and having real expertise. And let's be honest, that is a huge lift for a practice whose main job is taking care of patients. So what happens if you just stick with the status quo? What are the risks of doing nothing? Well, they're pretty big. You risk falling way behind on technology. You leave your practice wide open to cyber attacks. You're constantly struggling to keep up with compliance. And maybe worst of all, you burn out your best people with mind-numbing manual work. It's just not a sustainable way forward. And that brings us right to the solution, the strategic pivot that so many top practices are making. It's time we start thinking about outsourcing differently. This isn't about losing control. It's about gaining a powerful partner who is 100% dedicated to your practice's financial health. I mean, this side-by-side comparison really tells the whole story, doesn't it? On the left, that's the tough reality for a lot of in-house teams, battling staff turnover, wrestling with old tech, the never-ending treadmill of training. But on the right, that's the partner advantage. You get immediate access to certified experts, the latest tech, a team that grows or shrinks with your patient volume, and people whose entire job is to worry about regulations so you don't have to. Chuck Rackley from Greenway Health puts it perfectly. That ability to scale your team up when you're busy and down when you're not, it's a total game changer for efficiency and accuracy. It's all about having exactly the right resources at exactly the right time, without carrying the cost of a huge full-time staff. And what I love about this slide is it shows you just one of the many jobs an RCM partner handles, dealing with payer complexity. This whole 5-step process, from just spotting the changes to doing quality checks, that's a full-time job all by itself. An expert partner is doing this for every single one of your payers every single day. Okay, so the argument for a partnership sounds pretty strong. But does it actually deliver? Let's get into the proof. We're moving from the why you should do it to the what you actually get. What are the real, tangible results you can expect? Now, just to see the sheer scale of what's possible, let's look at a quick example from another part of hospital operations. Integrays Health saved $56 million by bringing in expert partners for their supply chain. Okay, so that's not revenue cycle, but it proves the principle. When you bring in dedicated specialists to handle a complex part of the business, you unlock incredible value. You free up money that can go right back into patient care. And this success isn't just a vague feeling. It's tracked meticulously. A good partner is totally transparent, and they're focused on the key numbers that actually matter. They work to get your days in AR down, push your clean claim rate over 95%, and systematically crush your denial rate, all of which leads to a higher net collection rate. It is all about measurable, concrete results. This case study is the perfect example of how back-office tech directly impacts frontline care. So Connecticut Children's brought in a partner's automated coding tech, and the result wasn't just, better billing. By cutting down that administrative headache, they directly improved their patient care workflows and made the entire patient experience better. That, right there, is the ultimate return on investment. Okay, that brings us to our final section, your blueprint for success. We've talked about the pressures, the big changes coming, and the proven benefits of a partnership. Now let's pull it all together into a plan you can actually use. So when you boil it all down, what does this partnership really give you? Number 1, focus. It frees up your team to do what they do best, take care of patients. Number 2, financial health, by tuning up your revenue and speeding up cash flow. Number 3, it future-proofs your practice, giving you access to tech and expertise you just can't build yourself. And finally, stability. It protects you from the huge risks of staff turnover and burnout. And this is where the blueprint becomes yours. The ideas we've talked about apply to everyone, but the way we put them into action has to be tailored specifically for your practice, for your needs. This is the starting point for us to chart your course to real financial health, not just for 2026, but for years and years to come. We'll just leave you with one final thought. You and your team, you are experts in patient care. It's your passion, it's your mission, it's where your focus belongs. So the question is, in this incredibly complex financial world, isn't it time your revenue cycle had its own expert too?